Welcome again, everyone, to the webinar. Today, we're going to be discussing public safety and the role of technology within it, and specifically how Haivision and Haivision solutions are helping to drive public safety. A bit of housekeeping to start off with. There's a Q&A button in Zoom. Please, throughout the webinar, put your question in there. I have my colleague Ryan Thornton, who is a solutions engineer here at Haivision, helping to answer those questions behind the scenes. You'll also see on some slides a small icon in the top right-hand side. On those slides specifically, we'll be sharing links to external resources, just a bit of additional information to the topics we'll be discussing at that time. I wanted to quickly start by setting the scene a little bit about what we at Haivision perceive to be public safety, or the areas in which we work. The video solutions we'll be talking about today are really going to be touched on these four major categories of public safety: emergency operations, real-time video transmission, operation centers, and incident response. And that ties directly into the agenda for today. So first, we'll be talking about real-time video and ISR workflows. Then we'll move on to talk about how there's been a rise in the use of mobile video transmitters for public safety. And then finally, how video walls are being used in operation centers to help capture all those video sources and used as a collaborative tool for teams. Finally, there'll be a live Q&A at the end. So if you have questions that you want any of the panelists to talk about, you can put them in the chat and I'll flag them and we'll get to them at the end of the webinar here. So with that, I'd like to introduce all the speakers today. A very warm welcome to Chris Curtis, a software engineer from CNC Technologies, and Major Patrick Krieg from Dunwoody Police Department in Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I also have three of my colleagues joining me today: John Lawrence, Tyler Stevens, and Meredith Vachel. So I'll introduce them as the segments go forward, but thank you all for your time today. And finally, I just wanted to set the scene here a little bit around public safety and what we perceive to be the market drivers in the segment today. First and foremost, technological advancements, the rise of 5G networks, the use of AI applications, and the power of edge computing now making a lot of these video solutions possible. There's also societal and regulatory changes. Specifically, I think the public there's now an expectation around safety and a certain accountability that's associated with it, and that's driving a lot of government policy and programs and funding. And then finally, there's the transformation of how we're using data, how we're using the technology to actually implement smarter cities and some of the public safety initiatives that we're seeing. So all that's culminating into a certain impact for society, and we're seeing that through, I've cherry-picked a couple of data points here, but both from the prevention of public safety incidences and then the reaction to some of them. There's a real world tangible outcome associated with these technologies. And that's why we're passionate about it here at Haivision, and why my colleagues and our guests are here today, and a lot of you here to learn more about it and to talk more about it more generally. So with that, I'd like to hand over to my colleague, John Lawrence, to talk about real-time video and ISR workflows. John?
Yeah, hey, thanks, Rowan. So my main objective today is really to set the stage for the rest of the speakers. Before I do that, I'm going to first introduce the Haivision mission critical ecosystem. So, on that note, so we really categorize our solutions into three main categories, as you can see here: acquisition, distribution, and visualization. So we have a range of solutions under these categories to support these mission critical workflows. On the acquisition side, what this really is capturing video at the source so that it can be transmitted across operational networks. The distribution category, that's really additional processing. So that can be enhancing video or just ensuring that it's in the right format for further distribution across networks. And then visualization, is exactly as it sounds: getting video in front of eyeballs, enabling live video consumption to aid in mission success. So on the first part of this presentation that really Chris from CNC is going to dive into, but as I said, I'll set the stage there. So that's going to be real-time video and ISR workflows. So these are on this slide, you can see some of the challenges that are presented within these workflows. So this is a place where the solutions I presented on the previous slide aid in overcoming these challenges. And just in case some of you out in the audience aren't familiar with some of the acronyms we're using here, ISR stands for Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance. It's really a term from our federal government and defense workflows that we're seeing applied more and more in the public safety realm. And then you'll see in the middle here, so we talk about KLV metadata preservation. So KLV stands for key length value. It's a format of geospatial metadata. This is important within video workflows, really for customers that need that awareness in a map-based application or within the TAC ecosystem. So moving beyond those challenges, really what I want to do next is outline and provide an illustration of this real-time video and ISR workflow, and even kind of dovetailing into the visualization piece. So on the top left here, we have Haivision hardware video encoders. These are most often deployed on air platforms, so it can be fixed wing aircraft, rotor wing aircraft. They're formatting video in a manner so that it can be transported on any type of IP network. And then we also have our Kraken, in this case, virtual machine. It's a software application that enhances video for further distribution. This is an area that Chris from CNC is going to go into great detail on to talk about how he overcomes some of those challenges we looked at on the previous slide and how Haivision helps him with that. Then down on the bottom left, we have our transmitter line. So these devices also provide encoding, but also paired with bonded cellular transmission. Tyler Stevens from our international mission team, he's had quite a bit of success with his public safety organizations in Europe that he supports. And so he's going to detail some of that success. And then moving on to the right side of the diagram, I really want to highlight the Alpha FX processor and the Command 360 video wall. So this is enabling that visualization, driving a large video wall within a command center to enable success within mission critical operations. And this is an area that Meredith and Patrick are going to highlight. They're going to talk in detail about how Haivision is driving Dunwoody's real-time crime center. So with that, I'm going to introduce Chris Curtis from CNC Technologies. So I've been working personally with Chris for a few years here. He's very familiar with the real-time video and ISR workflow component that we just discussed. And he's going to go into, he's first going to introduce CNC Technologies and the solutions that they provide to their customers. And then he's going to talk through how he works together with Haivision to solve some of those challenges we looked at. So with that, Chris, I'll hand it over to you.
John, thank you so much. And to everyone who's visiting with us today, I appreciate your time. And a big thank you to Haivision for having us on. As John has described, we've got a multi-year working relationship now behind us with many years to come in the future. So when we heard they were talking about public safety, we were really excited to get involved. So thank you again to Haivision for having us over here. My name is Chris Curtis. I'm the CNC Technologies software engineer. CNC Technologies is a company that backs the mission systems that we help install, sell, and deliver, and then maintain support on those products after they've been delivered. Something we're very focused on, 24/7 support and training being something very, very important and passionate to us. Our training team, some of the best I've ever met, former law enforcement, and they do a phenomenal job of ensuring that our customers understand the gear that they've purchased, know how to use it to the best of its ability, and keep issues during scenarios to a minimum. So we've developed a wide range of solutions over time. Something small is just adding transmitters to aircraft to fully fledged mission systems from the ground up. And we find we take a lot of pride in our custom design solutions and ensuring that our customers are able to do their mission to the best of their ability. Now, on top of providing the mission systems, we know how big video distribution is in these agencies and within this industry in general. And so, on top of delivering our custom solutions, we also have a product called CNC Live. CNC Live is our video distribution platform that is web-based that makes it so whether you're in the real-time crime center, out in the field, or even up in the aircraft, you're able to take a look at the video throughout your entire agency in next to real time. We're currently supporting a 2-second latency with a sub-second delay to come, thanks to some advancements in Haivision technology and some technology on our end as well, to really bring us down below that sub-second delay, as well as host and integrate a wide array of TAC features. TAC has become quite a popular topic lately in the public safety industry, and we want to make sure that we're able to support that not just by distributing the data and video for you, but even hosting that TAC solution on an AWS government server, removing the need for internal agencies to focus on more IT-driven tasks within their task force and focus on the job they're actually out there to do and fly these aircraft and get the information that they need in a real-time scenario. CNC Live also supports more than just aircraft. John talked a lot about how there's a lot more video distribution out there lately than there has been in, say, maybe the last 10 years or so. So CNC Live also supports drones and body cams, and we're using a lot of Haivision products to leverage that real-time connection between the device itself in the field and viewing on a mobile device or on a computer inside of the real-time crime center. It obviously takes a lot of work to get video distributed in a way that is usable. And so you can kind of see in the diagram that I have here in the next slide how we're trying to attack that, mostly backed with the products that Haivision is delivering today. So we are still supporting a large microwave antenna system throughout a lot of agencies. When major issues happen in especially larger cities or larger populated areas, cell phone, both signal and bandwidth become an issue for those who need it the most. First responders, firefighters, and of course, police officers and public safety are trying to use those networks to leverage any sort of information, whether that be location information or video. So we're still very driven by the microwave path and using our microwave receiving system as well as the Makito X1 encoder in the aircraft combined allows us to create a video stream that is not only low latency but has a quality that's usable and allows for real-time decision making. And that's something that we're really focused on moving forward. And the reason we use a lot of Haivision products as we do now is the lower the latency that we can provide glass to glass is going to really enable users to make better decisions in real time and keep the guys on the ground and in the air as safe as possible. Our CNC VM server has really leveled our ability up lately in order to get multiple video streams going at a time. We've had multiple crisis events where there's multiple aircraft in the air, and trying to build products that can withstand that level has been a bit of a challenge. But thanks to the Haivision Kraken software, we've been able to overcome that. We're very pleased with the results of that. Furthermore, getting that to a real-time crime center and to the IP video wall, to a recording server, or to some sort of HDMI video device, whether that's a video wall or a single screen viewing scenario, we're using video decoders from Haivision, such as the Play 2K box, that makes it very easy for us to distribute that video. So I could not be more pleased with the relationship we've had with Haivision moving forward or leading up to this point. And moving forward, they've really enabled us to grow our product and to create something that really fits well in the hands of the public safety industry. And I think with that, that will fulfill my piece. Again, I want to thank Haivision very much for having me today. It was phenomenal to come and speak and talk a little bit about what we do here at CNC. It's something I'm very, very passionate about in distributing video in public safety environments. So to be a part of this was absolutely phenomenal. If there's anything CNC can do for your agency, please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk about any custom solutions or the next project you're working on, or bringing video distribution to the agency that you're working with today. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate it.
No worries at all, Chris. I know how, I don't know if everyone knows how much you fly around the country, well, fly around America. So we appreciate your time, and I'm glad we could find you with the, I know, with the camera on and a little bit of time to chat with us. We have a question here from James, which maybe you can just answer directly.
Sure.
He asked, what is the length of time the video is archived on the servers? I'm not sure if
We
you know
don't
off the-
archive any video on the servers in the interest of security. If you would like to record any video that we're transmitting, we're more than happy to point that to a local recording server that we have the agency maintain in order to ensure video security is maintained from path to path. So we currently do not maintain any video on our video servers.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that. I guess you'll be sticking around for the end. So if there's more questions
Yes.
around CNC technologies or how they're interacting with Haivision solutions, put them in the Q&A section and we can get to them at the end of the webinar. But thanks again, Chris. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Rowan.
And with that, we're going to be moving on and continuing that conversation around live video with Tyler Stevens, our Vice President of Sales in the international market. So we bring in a lot of perspective from different markets around the world and how we're seeing different solutions being implemented for more public safety measures. So Tyler, over to you.
Hi, thanks, Rowan, and welcome everybody. Actually, CNC, that was perfect. If you look at Haivision legacy partnerships and end users, this is one of the most critical pieces for our growth in international in terms of transmitter space. So what we've been doing the past couple of years, sorry, I want to move you guys on to the next slide. I should have prompted you, Rowan, sorry. If you look at the past couple of years where we've really seen the largest amount of growth, we're seeing it in public safety. We're certainly, I mean, some of that is obviously geopolitical. You have geopolitical things happening where police need to, or emergency services groups need to acquire a bunch of equipment that's going to help them gain situational awareness from an edge area. But obviously, a lot of that is groups like CNC, legacy groups that have been a part of and in partnership with Haivision for many, many years. They've been using Makitos over microwave links like we just saw. They've been using Kraken systems to help distribute video content. And now we're seeing we have this other technology stack that complements the rest of the Haivision product portfolio in a really meaningful way. And so these, obviously here on the screen, you see a number of different verticals of people that we've obviously seen transmitter adoption into, but it's not limited to these groups. We're seeing a lot of groups, any group that requires, collecting actionable intelligence from some field environment and bringing that back to a command and control environment where you have eyes on and situational awareness for those decision makers. That's where we're seeing the adoption in transmitters. So what that looks like, if you look at, next slide, if you look at John's original slide where he went over the product portfolio and acquisition, distribution, visualization, you can see where these transmitters fit quite well into the larger picture. So we're really complementing end user legacy workflows with transmitters in a way that's become quite massive in the past couple of years. So we have a lot of end users internationally. I won't call out individual ones, but we'll give an example of some where people are using these transmitters to complement something that they're already doing, ISR workflows that they might already be doing, or adding another capability for multiple agencies to come in and be a part of an overarching workflow for a national group or a larger agency group. So you see where these products kind of fall into each one of those verticals and how those products actually look. If we go to the next slide, you'll kind of see what that looks like today. So we've got a couple of transmitters. Obviously, we're quite flexible in how we're going to implement those and maybe where they're going to be appropriate and where not. Maybe one thing just off the top of my head, I just noticed we don't have the rack unit with the antenna, but that's also one of these that we're pairing in these user groups as well. So we've got a number of different flexible options. And obviously more to come as we continue developing on this technology. And the easy thing about this has been workflow interoperability, adding that debonding with StreamHub and being able to interoperate with the existing infrastructures that we have made us be able to add on to these workflows in a really impactful way. So StreamHub has been fantastic in that it can turn around video content. We can pass them to Cloud Kraken servers like they have at CNC, or whatever you're using, so that you can ingest that content and move it onward in a really cohesive manner. Third-party VMS interoperability is key and very, very important for most of these user groups. And so we're able to manage that quite well with both StreamHub and Kraken. So those distribution products are perfect for that. And I guess that kind of brings me on to the next one. So we've made it somewhat redacted. We've made it very generic, but this is something that I could probably duplicate 5 times over in the international space. The team in international, we've been dealing with a lot of user groups that might have rotary aircraft, they might have fixed wing aircraft, they might be doing tactical operations in the field. And what they're doing now is we've allowed them, with the addition of the transmitters, to go into a really impactful multi-domain type workflow and overarching workflow. We're bringing additional agencies in. So this is an example here. This is a true example of a national police group in the international space that uses us both on helicopters. Their military police are also with a multi-domain environment, adding video content to the overarching national police infrastructure. We've got field drone groups. We've got police field units that might also be covert units that are out in the field, each of them on their own domains, passing video content back to a central command. And then on the police vehicle side, we're even helping to manage mobile tactical operation centers with these groups. So this is it's multiple groups internationally that we've been able to put this holistic workflow together for, and it's become really, really impactful. And obviously, it serves to feed everything into that central command. So you see on central command, we're hitting Kraken, we're hitting StreamHub, and we're probably hitting Command 360. And so it ends up being a really organic, nuanced way to add multiple field contribution elements over to the central command. So yeah, like you guys mentioned, we've seen a very massive adoption in international. We look forward to what's to come. We're building momentum, and it's really been a lot of fun helping these user groups. They're close to our heart. So with that, I'll pass on to the next group who's going to kind of talk into that central command piece. So once we've acquired video content, where do we pass it? What do we do with it? So thank you, Rowan, and everybody for your time.
Thanks, Todd. I appreciate that. And yeah, exactly as you said, we're going to be passing over to Meredith Michelle now. She'll be running through video walls and operation centers specifically, and then introducing another special guest. So Meredith.
Hey there. So happy that everyone was able to join us today. I'm Meredith Voschel. I'm the Director of Sales for the Enterprise and Public Safety team. My team specifically focuses on serving the Mid-East, the TOLA, and Southeast regions. So if any of you are from there, you may have seen or met me before. Up to now, we've been focused on capturing and delivering content, but now we're going to focus on that visualization piece. Most of you have probably been in a mission critical control room environment. At the front, you have some sort of visual representation, usually a monitor array or an LED wall, maybe even just a simple projector or large format display. But something has to feed that wall. And in these environments, it needs to be something very intelligent and dynamic. And that's where Command 360 product line shines. So we have a video wall processor that you can think of as the brain behind those walls. And then we also have encode, decode, transcode things that help our customers bring in specialized tools and sources to that wall, to that room specifically. And then you manage them on one graphic dynamic user interface. So next slide, Rowan. Within public safety, this usually translates to traffic management centers, emergency operations centers, 911, E11 dispatch, and last but not least, real-time crime centers. Which have gained popularity. Some folks call it a real-time crime center. Some people call it a real-time operations center, maybe a real-time information center. But regardless, these are specialized rooms that are responding to a very specific mission, and in often cases are using very specific tools to do their job. With that, I would like to introduce my special guest, Major Patrick Krieg. Major Krieg oversees the Real-Time Crime Center in Dunwoody, Georgia. He is going to hop on here and kind of explain what that room looks like, what they use it, and how it's grown technology-wise over the past few years. Patrick, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, Meredith.
Yes.
Hello, my name's Patrick Krieg. I'm a major with the city of Dunwoody. We are North Metro Atlanta, Georgia. And currently I oversee all tactical operations and SWAT operations for North Atlanta. And I oversee our real-time crime center and technology integration. Just a little bit about the city of Dunwoody. We sit at the northernmost point of the city of Atlanta. We're approximately 60,000 residents overnight, and we bring in a population of about 250,000 during the day. We run a sworn staff on the road. We've actually quickly progressing and adding additional, moving into 2026 of nearly 70 sworn with civilian officers. Currently, we're operating with 63. And we have quite a bit of technology, which has entered our market aggressively in the past 4 years. And something we've tried to integrate strategically since 2013, but we've recently found it to be much more effective with some of our partners, which kind of built the purpose for real-time crime centers and what we're bringing into our city and why a room like this can be effective. So I'll take you back to 2013, at least in local law enforcement within the U.S., many of us were outfitting our agencies or municipalities with running fiber, planning live view cameras, and mobile license plate reading devices. Unfortunately, many of those devices did not operate in a fashion based around law enforcement, and we did not have the staff to monitor live view cameras ingested at City of Atlanta alone. We had 28,000 private cameras into that system, which without any bit of AI or partnership through programs and strategically managing that, it was just such a resource that we weren't able to leverage that technology to benefit the officers on the road and the crime that was committed. We had to pull all these products in, and we had to make this footprint really make sense. And that brought in real-time crime centers and management. And within at least local law enforcement in the U.S., this was an initiative we started around 2020 and came to fruition in 2023. We saw platforms like license plate readers, PTZs, our Genetech access camera systems, which we had well over 300 populated in our 13.2 square mile city. All our traffic cameras working with DOT that we wanted to ingest, and our private partners who had their own camera systems. We had capability to pull these in, but now we didn't have a footprint where we could really understand it, digest it, and leverage that technology in a way that it could truly be meaningful to the officers on the road and how we reported to crime. We put together this room and truly didn't understand how dynamic we needed a real-time crime center to be, that our board was going to change under every incident. We lived within templates prior to that, and we needed to find a tool that would allow us to address a critical situation, an active shooter, an officer incident, an officer-involved shooting, or an EMA response for traffic control, Hurricane Helene, which recently came through us. And we found a product through Haivision with Command 360 that allowed us to really run a brain within our board, that we were not trapped within any type of template. And my analysts in this room could dynamically change this board to ultimately address any asset or incident that was occurring in our city. We deal with some violent crime that is rising in the U.S. historically, year after year recently, but majority, we are a target-rich environment that's fairly affluent that addresses an enormous amount of property crime. So our third-party surveillance, our ability to license plate recognition and pull in offenders that are coming into our city, our ability to capture gunshots at the instance it occurs, geolocate and send our officers on scene to that location is enormous for our response to be reduced. Being able to pull in E911 into that room at the connection of the incident, not the point of dispatch, which when the caller in our status will call 911, there's typically a 3 to 4 minute delay once that information's gathered, passed from a call taker to a dispatcher, and then to an officer in the field. We make that connection instantly. It's taken in all officers' cars and it's taken through Command 360 into our room with a product called Flock OS, and we're able to listen to that live, get our officers on scene. We're able to visually see where they're at, pull up all camera sets that are private party and integrated with our officers so that we can set some type of overwatch to give them as much data to what they're responding to. These calls will instantly be geolocated once that connection is made. That is populated to our board. And new to our market is actual DFR, so drone as first responder. We've been running drone programs and COAs through the FAA since 2015 in a very unsuccessful manner. Finally, we've received approval to fly beyond line of sight and with no visual observers, so our drones can autonomously fly to those geolocations of those 911 calls and be dispatched instantaneously over scenes, and we can start getting overwatch information for fire, EMS, and law enforcement prior to that officer's response. So as much intelligence and as much data that we can gather, it has become critical on our response, shaving off seconds from EMS, fire, critical incident, police officer interaction or engagement, and we're able to take that information and be much more effective. We found that we're able, through property crime and using this intelligence appropriately, we've reduced property crime dramatically and we're addressing violent crime. What it's also caused us to do is, with this intelligence, we are catching offenders during the crime. We are no longer just taking reports after the fact, which has made having visual aids, having drones, having the capability to display this in any fashion we need to the incident that we have, that our officers are running into encounters where they're using force. They're getting into car chases, they're arresting aggressive offenders, and we are addressing crime in a way other than taking a report, investigating later, and hoping for an apprehension. It is real-time policing. It is giving us capability to catch offender in real time when the crime's occurring. And ultimately, with this tool, we thought crime, and this, we refer to ours as a real-time crime center, was going to be our primary purpose in this room. We never really saw the aspect of traffic control, EMA, until those instances occurred. And being able to manipulate and not be stuck in any position in our board on a set template where we can only associate a crime, that we can dynamically change to running our power grids, getting everything up there, using all our data pulled in through Axon, body camera, in-car camera, field cameras, private cameras, and responding to these weather events, these traffic events, or multi-jurisdictional events. We have FIFA 2026 coming up, so we're already laying out how these platforms are going to work and train our officers on how we're going to respond and support it through working in a real-time crime center and funneling all that data, which we had access to, but never were we able to leverage it in one place and put it on a single pane of glass and get this information to our officers in a usable fashion. So far, it's been trial and error, and it's been a test over the past couple of years that's proven to be very, very successful. And Haivision has been the product that's allowed our board to be so functional. It's pulled in all our tools and our technology to make that in a fashion that we can manipulate it, and it can run at top priority and top fashion in a way that otherwise we were just mirroring our computer screens and trying to tab through data that just got overwhelming. So having that integration, being able to manipulate and stay dynamic is critical to our room from day to day. And I believe that covers my portion.
Thanks, Patrick. Really appreciate your time and describing what technology you have yeah, at your disposal in order to improve public safety. So the questions have been flooding in, so let's try to get to some of them now. And so I'll just ask Chris and John to turn your cameras on because they're going to be coming your way as well. Just a follow up, Chris, to the original question to you. Stephen asked if no video is being recorded, the end user, but the end user needs the video at a later time. Is there a process to obtain it? Or is it the end user's responsibility to record that video? So maybe you could just talk to the different, interoperability opportunities available for that type of video capture.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, we do keep that responsibility on the user because when it comes to evidence video, a lot of red tape gets involved very quickly. So it is completely on the user to record that video. Now, we help you do that. Most of our users record directly in the aircraft from the feed on the mission computer that is attached to the TFO station. And we have in the past used post-streaming recorders to maintain that video for customers. So while it is possible, it is technically the responsibility of the customer, and we do everything that we can to enable that.
Awesome. And then just a couple of other ones that have come in for you as well, Chris, whilst we
Sure.
have you. Peter asks, what existing metadata tagging or classification do you currently use, if any?
We're using general MISB data currently out of the aircraft. We are working on integrating even more metadata into our system currently as we grow to build for tax support. We'll actually be providing a live map next to the video. So we are still working on that from a technical end, but to generally answer the question, we're using MISB data from inside the aircraft to carry metadata over our Haivision encoders.
This is possibly over my head, but there was a secondary question to that, to whether you have APIs or workflows for integrating external metadata. Was that already included in that answer? Or?
Yeah, we absolutely can take external metadata in as a separate pipe.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Peter, for all the questions. There's another one from Wissam. Is the video wall integrated with third-party VMS? So maybe that's one for you, Meredith.
Yeah, so most of the time, a lot of precincts are either bringing those video management servers into the alpha processor directly. Many, though, are using proprietary policing tools from Axon and Flock to bring in all of those camera feeds into one operating system and then putting that mirror image up on the wall. So that's usually being mirrored from a monitor that is also integrated into the workstation. But sometimes it can be brought in other ways depending on, how high touch they're going to be using that operating system to see those body cams or license plate readers, things like that.
Awesome. And so just one more from Peter as well. Not sure who best, maybe you, John, in terms of what is the status of leveraging or integrating multi-model AI as to processing assets and data as to third parties or internally?
Yeah, sure. I can certainly feel that. That's a great question. So at a high level, the Kraken solution that I introduced briefly and Chris talked about as well, that is a software application that processes video. Oftentimes it's transcoding video, but within that application, we have the ability to host third-party AI algorithms. So we have a couple ways to accomplish that. One, we have an SDK we can provide to the AI company. So they can kind of do it themselves. Or the other method is we can work hand in hand with that company to perform an integration. The real takeaway, though, is like we're providing Kraken as a platform to bring your own AI. So I mean, again, that's fairly high level. So in terms of follow up, like certainly please reach out to Haivision to learn more about how we accomplish that.
Yeah, just on that point, John, everyone should have received just a short poll that simply says, do you want to be contacted by Haivision or CNC Technologies after this? So you can just simply say yes, and we can reach out and have a much more in-depth conversation regarding any questions that you may have. And then just one final one here for you, Tyler. Can you give us more information about how the video transmitters send video over cellular networks? And why is that beneficial for public
Yeah,
safety?
certainly. I mean, As you already know, Haivision is well known for the SRT protocol. Another protocol that we're quite well known for is the SST protocol. So SST is what we're using to bond from the transmitters back over to the stream hub. And that SST protocol is much like SRT in that it has packet redundancy. It allows you to go over disparate networks and even bond with other SATCOM links, tactical radios, things like that on top of the 5G. So we're using that as a mechanism. Transmitters have the encoding mechanisms in them, and we're debonding on the stream hub servers.
Awesome. And Meredith, I think this is going to be the final questions. We're coming up to time here, but the last one from Stephen here is, or maybe for you, Chris, as well. As it is on the end user to record, is there a recommendation of storage size that Haivision tell customers when they're using the Command 360 application?
My answer to that is easy. I would say that I have a ton of amazing technology integration partners and specific ones that will be along with you in your journey. So, we do these rooms. We are experts in mission critical control spaces, but there's a lot of components in these rooms that Haivision doesn't manufacture. So we talked about that wall earlier during my piece, but there's also speakers and cables and furniture and raised floor and a whole bunch of other things to consider. And there's a lot of firms out there that specialize in that, putting all the pieces together. We refer to those as technology integration partners. We have certified technology integration partners in Haivision technology. So what we would do is recommend you to one of those experts who then could sell said technology to you, make recommendations based on how long you're trying to record, what other features you might need in saving those recordings and stuff like that.
I think that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you everyone so much for your attention, your participation and all the questions. And a massive thank you to you, Chris, and you, Major Cree, for your time today. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing your expertise. And of course, thank you to all my colleagues here at Haivision for putting together this webinar. But with that, I say thank you. Please reach out and answer the poll if you'd like to speak with us further. And I hope everyone has a great day. Bye for now.